The woman knew the dress sent by her stepmother had a problem, yet she still wore it to attend the imperial concubine selection. Sure enough, as soon as she arrived at the palace gates, she saw the arrogant Mary scolding a candidate dressed in green just like her. But the woman not only remained calm, she even deliberately revealed her own green dress. Mary's maid spotted it immediately and at once dragged the girl in green off the carriage. The next second, the woman appeared before everyone dressed entirely in white. The reason she could change clothes in advance was because she had been reborn. In her previous life, her biased parents married her to a poor scholar. Being clever, she gave her all to help her husband become prime minister. The woman also became the prime minister's wife and followed her husband into the palace to attend banquets. Her elder sister Susan, who entered the palace selection, though she became one of the emperor's concubines, did not receive the emperor's favor and lived a very miserable life. Susan grew jealous that her younger sister lived a better life than she did and even disguised herself as a eunuch, killing her sister right in front of the emperor. Soon after, Susan was also sent to hell by the imperial guards. When the woman opened her eyes again, she had returned to the day her parents arranged her engagement. Her biased parents, wanting the elder sister to live well. Once again, just like in her previous life, let the woman marry the poor scholar. The woman was temporarily powerless to resist, so she could only obey her parents' decision for now. Unexpectedly, Susan suddenly rushed in, saying she wanted to marry the poor scholar and have the woman enter the palace in her place to become a concubine. Seeing Susan's unusual behavior, the woman realized she too had been reborn. Susan believed the poor scholar would one day become prime minister, so she ignored their parents' dissuasion and insisted on changing the engagement. Little did she know, the poor scholar was extremely lazy. It was only through the woman's full support that he rose to a high position. Seeing how determined Susan was, their doting father had no choice but to agree to the marriage. The stepmother deliberately asked if the woman wanted to enter the palace selection. The woman knew she was being tested, so she pretended to be afraid and said, "I wouldn't dare take the glory and wealth that belonged to my sister." Seeing that the woman was obedient and sensible, the stepmother lowered her guard and said hypocritically, "You may not be my biological daughter, but if you can have a good future, I'll be at ease." And so, the woman gained the chance to enter the palace selection. In this new life, she wanted to rise to a high position and become someone Susan could never reach. That night, Susan deliberately sought out the woman, mocking her not to think that entering the palace would put her above her. The woman pretended not to understand and asked Susan what she meant. Hearing this, Susan thought she was the only one reborn, so she deliberately reminded the woman, "The emperor loves green the most. If you wear a green dress, you'll